No, Chrome, nosy butt. Okay, I'm live over there now. Mama Trey Wilbon is what I am other places. Okay. Oh, it does? Good. You know, you can always cast me with mirror to your TV. If you have the mirror effect if you have an iPhone, I guess. I don't know anything about the other ones. But you can do that and put me on a TV. That's what I used to do when I used to listen to other people. So, what we were talking about, let me bring this back up. So, Brown University, maybe let me get away from that talk because maybe that's what is hi. Maybe that's what's doing it with the AI. Yes, I am. I'm on all those other. I'm on everything. So, but I can't say it because then I'll get a violation for that. As y'all can see, how violations work around here. I'm your example of how violations work around here. I always have to talk in code over here. So we've already gone through those 33,000 men, right? We're not going to talk about that topic anymore. So here is the economic betrayal. Okay. Here's the economic betrayal. Oh, they've banned two of my other accounts. I had 200,000 on my first account, and then 20 something thousand on my second one. This is my third one. For your premenopause symptoms, even Primrose are a must to do. I already have that in my product called Flash Formula. Already have that. You don't have to buy separate ingredients. It's already in one formula. Okay. It's in the shopping cart right there. So, the most documented political bait and switch in American history. The white working class was told, vote for us, and we will protect your jobs, we will protect your communities, and we will make you great again. How's that working out? How's that greatness? When is that greatness due to arrive? Just again. Y'all keep saying again. When was it great the first time? I'm just for my research. For my research. When was it great the first time? Hmm, great for them. I don't need you to reload the site. Oh, it turned black. Why did you do that? Yeah, I'm waiting to see when it was too. So hold on. Let me see if this will turn back white. I don't know how to do it. We'll just go from here. So the documented reality, because those are the promises that they made to the white community. Vote for us and we'll make everything great again, right? So the CBPP confirmed, which is a Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the harmful Republican mega bill gives huge tax breaks to wealthy individuals, businesses, and large corporations, while leaving behind or harming working class Americans. The CBPP also confirmed the low cuts 1.1 trillion from Medicaid and ACA marketplaces, according to Congressional Budget Office estimates. 1.1 trillion from Medicaid. Did y'all hear that around June or July, when this bill comes into effect, that 70% of the doctors are no longer going to be taking patients with Medicare and Obamacare? 70%. because they can no longer afford to treat the patients that are getting that the bills are being paid by Medicaid and Medicare. So whatever you're gonna get it done now. But again, this goes back to whatever you tell the world that black people are benefiting from, white people will fight side by side with you to make sure you get rid of it, even if they need it. That's why that is a winning tactic. Whenever they put a black face on anything, it immediately gets white people to say, get rid of it. When in fact, we aren't even the major recipients of that thing. They are. So instead of breaking the contract with the white folks, they would rather make the white folks believe we are fucking them. So they are going to save the good white folks from us. The healthcare program that covers the documented disproportionate number of white rural Americans who are the documented base of the party that just cut it. Van Hollen, Senate confirmed Trump's big beautiful bill is a big ugly betrayal to the people who voted for him, partly financing 4.5 trillion in tax cuts tilted to the wealthiest, to be partially financed by those cuts to Medicaid. The people who voted most enthusiastically for the bill are the people documented as the most harmed by the bill. Again. So then the question becomes, when are they going to wake up to this? They're not. That's why there's no point in you arguing with them. They're not going to wake up to it. Because just like we have been brainwashed into believing there's a big white man in the sky that knows all and can turn your wishes into fruition, they have been taught to believe that we are their boogeyman. That the reason that they are not what and where they want to be in life is because of black people. And they are going to hold that belief until they go to the next plane of existence. Exactly. If he was real, it's either he's against us or he's for us. So which one is it? Hold on. So Oxfam confirmed the 10 richest U.S. billionaires got $698 billion wealthier in just the past year. $698 billion in 1 year under this joker. 10 people out of the millions and millions of people that live here. That's not true. I was. Okay. So 10 people in 1 year, while the working class, documented in every chapter of this book, black and white, received their wages stagnant for 46 years. They have not raised the minimum wage in 46 years. Damn near 50 years, they haven't raised the minimum wage, yet everything else has increased. And y'all are out here swimming and fighting like R. Kelly in the fucking comments to support rich people. Number three, what else? What is the other consumption? Number three or number four? We're in number four. The opioids. It's $12 in Nevada. I'm talking about a national minimum wage, not a state minimum wage. Y'all need to understand the difference between state and federal. They fought for $15 an hour, and everybody said, no way. We don't want niggas making $15 an hour. We would rather stay at $7 an hour because we don't want niggas to benefit from that. We don't want niggas to make what we're making. We'll just stay at the 7 and be on welfare. And that's what they did. The most documented pharmaceutical extraction from white working class communities in American history, the opioids. Concentrated in Appalachia, the Rust Belt, rural Midwest, the former mill towns, the places the factories left. Remember all those factories he's supposed to be opening up? Where are all those factories at? Remember he said all these businesses were going to come back? That's what he put the tariffs up for, remember? He said once we do these tariffs, all of these companies are going to come back to America. We're going to be the hottest country on the planet. Remember? PMC confirmed the population in these areas are predominantly whites, with an estimated 12 to 38% of the population living below the poverty line. The population in these areas, the Appalachia, Rust Belt, this is where the opioid epidemic hit the hardest. Now, remember, we also had our drug issues, right? But our drug issues were criminalized. Their drug issues require rehab centers. Our people weren't sent to rehab centers. Our people were sent to prison. So the documented mechanism, the same communities deindustrialized by documented corporate decisions to move manufacturing overseas were then documented as targeted by pharmaceutical companies marketing opioids, specifically to communities with high rates of physical labor injuries. The factory took the body, the opioid took what remained, and the documented results. The CDC confirmed 2024 data. Over 80,000 Americans died of overdoses in the 12-month period ending January 25. The majority documented as whites. In documented white working class communities, the system extracted the labor, closed the factories, flooded the communities with documented pharmaceutical poison, and called it a public health crisis. Not a corporate extraction, not a system consuming its own, a crisis. Without a named perpetrator. Without a named perpetrator. Perpetrator was your doctor. While the families that own Purdue Pharma, documented as the Sackler family, paid a settlement and kept their wealth. All they did was pay a couple of $1 billion. And they just walked away with all of those debts. The average drug dealer will be in jail. What makes them different than a regular drug dealer? They're not out on the street. Number 5, the consumption, the radicalization when despair finds a pipeline. And here, the most documented dangerous consequences of everything above, Equimundo documented economic insecurity, isolation, and harmful norms are driving a dangerous mix of despair and grievance. Why are people shooting up schools? Despair and grievance. When those two things meet, a documented online ecosystem designed to monetize them, the result is documented. The manosphere, the incel pipeline, the documented platforms of figures like Andrew Tate, who sell a version of masculinity that is anti-woman, anti-black, anti-anyone who is not the dominant version of the documented patriarchal idea. So, to young men who are documented as economically anxious, socially isolated, zero close friends, suicidal at documented rates, told by the patriarchy that their own pain is a weakness and their weakness is shameful. The pipeline is documented. Lonely young man finds online community that validates his pain, redirects his pain towards women, towards minorities, towards anyone in the system, anyone the system has designated as the appropriate enemy. So rather than towards the documented owners of the system that created the conditions for the loneliness, we're the bad guy. We're the enemy. Women, minorities, not the people that created it, not the people that created these pipelines to extract from them. So they redirect the rage. The manosphere is the 2025 version of the same documented tool used in 1676 to prevent poor white workers and enslaved Africans from recognizing their shared enemy. It's the same tool, digital platform, same function. It's the rich European elites trying to make sure that the poor whites and the poor blacks don't get together against them. This divide is on purpose. So when y'all come here and it's because of you that the country's divided. Me? What system did I create? I'm literally out here every day dismantling the system. Every day. I'm not the reason that the country is divided. But y'all do not hesitate to come here and say that shit to me every day. And that just lets me further know how delusional y'all are. That y'all bought into this shit. You bought into it. They sold you this and you bought it with your last few pennies or food stamps or EBT credit. You bought into it. So, consumption number 6, whiteness itself, the documented psychological costs. Because I wrote about it in 2 books, both sides of the whip, that there is a psychological cost to whiteness, physically and mentally. Just like dealing with racism takes its toll on our body, you inflicting racism also takes a toll on yours. So let's talk about it. And here, the most documented invisible harm, the harm that the system can never acknowledge, because acknowledging it would require acknowledging the system. Journal of Social Issues confirmed in 2024 from documented peer-reviewed research, whiteness hurts society. This is research. This is science. Now you see why they're trying to close down the science board. Whiteness hurts society. How whiteness shapes mental, physical, and social health outcomes. We illustrate how whiteness can harm health and well-being among white Americans and broader society. Harms white Americans. Whiteness, the system of whiteness, harms white people. Tap the screen to share the live. Where are the gifts? I'm working here. I'm working. Hold on. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it says. How? Washington University confirmed from the documented paper whiteness as a radicalized social system and a set of beliefs that uphold white American social supremacy creates psychological rigidity, social isolation, limited emotional range, and documented barriers to authentic human connection. I'll read it to you again. What are you saying? That y'all are fucked up. Thank you, Miss Tiffany. She said, everybody go purchase the book right now. Because y'all need to understand this information. If I don't do nothing else, I'm going to raise y'all motherfucking self-esteem and self-worth, bitch. If I don't do nothing else, I'm going to let you know that none of this shit that y'all are seeing or dealing with is fucking real. Am I listening to what, Miss Evelyn? What can I do for you, Miss Evelyn? What do I need to be listening to, Miss Evelyn? You kiss your mama with that? My mom's dead. So that would be a no. And I certainly wouldn't kiss your mama with it. Why are you so ghetto and why are you cursing so much? Because I can fucking curse and say whatever the fuck I want to say, bitch. Hi. Ain't nothing ghetto about me. Nothing. Y'all always want to accuse a person that speaks in AAVE as being ghetto. Do y'all know what it sounds like when y'all be talking? All that old Southern shit and all that old trailer park shit. Y'all don't recognize how y'all be sounding when y'all talk. I don't know who the fuck Vanessa is. Hi, Bubba. Hi. 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 You're on the wrong live, bitch. Hi. It's okay, Fats. I can cuss him out. You don't need to come and protect me. Nobody gonna do a motherfucking thing. I love you too. All of a sudden, the bots are losing their shit. What are your thoughts on the Frank Zenu and Dave Anderson debate? I don't have any thoughts. He does. He comes to check on me. Are you okay? Who's fucking with you, Mom? Are you okay? Do you need me for emotional support? Hold on. Washington University confirmed Whiteness as a radicalized social system and a set of beliefs that uphold white American social supremacy creates psychological rigidity, social isolation, limited emotional range, and documented barriers to human connection. I'm gonna kill that goddamn. And y'all listen to anything these motherfuckers say to y'all? I'll read it again because it's so good. Washington University confirmed from a documented paper that whiteness as a radicalized social system and a set of beliefs that uphold white American social supremacy creates psychological rigidity, social isolation, limited emotional range, and a documented barrier to authentic human connection. Did you catch it that time? No. Make sure you guys go to the TikTok shop and get you one of those fantabulous. I suggest getting the chill gummies and the allostatic drops. I'm just saying. You recorded it, was so good. You're welcome. So hold on. The documented irony. Oh, wait, I skipped something. Limited emotional range. Limited emotional range. Oh, for menopause, Flash Formula. For menopause, it's Flash Formula. It's right here. It's one of the products. All the good stuff is in that one capsule. Okay. He said y'all got limited emotional range. The patriarchal mandate not to feel. Remember? They were told not to feel. Where does it ship from? Where does what ship from? Where does what ship from, Rebecca? America? America? So you have the patriarchal mandate not to feel combined with the white supremacist mandate not to acknowledge. This produces documented psychological rigidity. A person who cannot feel cannot connect. A person who cannot connect is documented as lonely. A person who is documented as lonely is documented as more likely to be suicidal, more likely to be radicalized. Your tracking information should be in your email. It should be in your email. And if you can't find it, just message me and I'll look into it. Okay? So you are more likely to become the person that the system designed them to be, an enforcer of the system that is consuming you. So now you've turned into Agent Smith. So now you, Agent Smith, out here trying to protect the machine from the very people that are trying to also set you free from the machine. That is the documented psychological cost of white supremacy on the people recruited to maintain it. It's like 1 + 1 is 2, but you know, dummies. So, an enforcer of the system that is consuming them, right? So it's not guilt, it's not punishment, it's documented psychological harm of a system that requires its maintainers to suppress everything that makes them fully human. in order to perform the domination the system requires. Thank you, Crowns. So the system made white people, because remember, it created whiteness in 1676. And all this time it has been turning them into agents of the system to protect and uphold the system. The system turned you into its first line of defense. It didn't give you no money. It didn't give you no hope. It didn't give you no house. It didn't give you no car. It didn't give you no business. It didn't give you none of that. It just gave you a false sense of superiority. And that was all you asked for. And that is all you got. You should have asked for the money. But they weren't going to give you the money because then you would be a European elite. The reason they never gave you money is because they don't want your poor, broke white ass on the same level as them. Sharp strips, neural melts for psychological stuff, for ADHD. Okay. I take Sharp every day. Today I took the Sharp strips. So we have a lot of the products now, we have them in gummies, in strips, and powders. So not just capsules. Okay. So if you feel weird about taking capsules, but remember, capsules can be opened. You can put them in your shake or smoothie or whatever. But now we have a lot of things that also come in drop form or in powder form or in strips. I'm in love with the strips and the gummies. And Fats is also a person that is in love with the chill gummy. It's become his nightly ritual. I just give him a little half a chill gummy and he just relaxes and sleeps through the night, which is perfect. Because Fats got anxiety issues. Fats has been on CBD chews his entire life. Hi. Fats has been on CBD chews his entire life since he was 6 weeks old. So hold on. So there's more. The documented irony, the people who are supposed to be winning. The people who are supposed to be winning. The system told white men, you are at the top. You are the default. You are the standard. You are the norm. America was built for you. The laws were written for you. The economy was designed for you. The culture centers you. You are winning. And y'all believed it. Even though your eyes say otherwise. Thank you. Even though your eyes say otherwise, you still bought into it. The documented evidence that you're actually not winning. The 33,509 dead by suicide in 2024, 15% with zero close friends, wages 2.7 times below productivity, opioid epidemic concentrated in their communities, 1.1 trillion cut from their healthcare, 698 billion going to 10 people, life expectancy declining, deaths of despair rising, radicalization pipelines monetizing their isolation, a system documented as harming their mental, physical, and social health. This is what winning looks like under the system that was supposed to be built for them. Y'all love statistics until there's statistics about you. So, Equimundo documented it precisely. Men aren't in crisis because of who they are, but because of what they lack. Economic insecurity, isolation, and harmful norms are driving a dangerous mix of despair and grievance. Because of what they lack, not because of who they are. The lacking was engineered by the same system that told them they were winning. So, my question to white folks is, why are you not demanding more from the system? Why are you just going along with it? Because all they ever do is compare themselves to us. And as long as they believe that the system that they support is holding us down, they are going to support that system. And that's what it is. They believe that the system was created to keep us beneath them. And as long as that system does that, they are going to support it. So, what Black people are supposed to do with this information? Not gloat, not sympathize, but understand precisely for 3 documented reasons. Documented reason number 1, the despair being monetized in white working class communities is being monetized towards you. They're monetizing that grief and despair towards us. And you need to be aware of that. You were told that nothing is yours unless you work for it. You didn't work for whiteness. You didn't work for whiteness, sweetheart. You didn't work for that. Just like we didn't work for melanin. We didn't work for melanin, but we were forced to work for you. Not you in particular, because you didn't make enough money to have slaves. There's nobody sitting here on my live that could afford slaves. So get it out of your head that you owned us, because you can't even afford to own a house, let alone a slave. If you ever owned a slave, you would be a billionaire today. You would still be a billionaire today. That's how you know they never owned slaves. Because when you go and get Extraction, the first book, I give you all the names of the people that made money off of owning slaves, because they are billionaires today. Oh, Speak Me So can learn some control, especially with Black mixed race, calling CPS. I don't know anything about your situation, ma'am. So, ma'am, I think you're on the wrong live. Talking to me like shit parallel to what I speak to them. I don't care. You need to go. I don't, we're not interested in your story. Okay? We're not interested. So their despair is being monetized and turned into anger and radicalization in order to protect the system. Okay? So the documented radicalization pipeline takes a lonely, economically abandoned, suicidal white man and gives him a documented enemy. That's us. Hi. That's us. Not the documented billionaire who extracted his wages. Because mind you, we don't have the power to fuck with the system. We just don't. We can, but we don't. So we're not the ones that own these corporations that laid you off. We're not the ones that voted to take away your health care. We're not the ones that did any of that. And if you had listened to us, you wouldn't be in the situation that you are in today. If you had listened to Black women all this time, you wouldn't be some lonely, radicalized, suicidal white man. You wouldn't be a white man that's not in touch with his fucking feelings. You wouldn't be any of those things had you listened to us. But no, you signed on with the people that you surround yourself with. You signed on to be just like them. Why would we listen to the bottom of society? You mean your trailer park friends? Your trailer park friends are the bottom of society, sweetheart. There's no Black person that is beneath a white person. Nowhere on the planet. You know how I know? You know how I know? Because there's nothing on your body that can monetize other than your anger. There's nothing that they want from you. Nothing. Y'all be letting them go too early. Y'all won't let me just rip them. There's not one thing of value on the white body. It is completely devoid of anything of value. You're not taking your skin. You're not taking your hair. You're not taking your eyeballs. You're not taking your organs. You're not taking your plasma. You're not taking your blood. They're not taking any of those things from you. And as a matter of fact, everything that they get from us is to help you with the things that you lack because you lack melanin. So how can you be above the thing that literally saves your life? Because without us, you dust. Without us, you dust. Dust. So don't come over here flapping your little baloney lips talking about you better than anybody. Not over here. Not on my watch. Because I have documented proof that you are not. Documented by science. So, documented reason number one, the despair being monetized in white working class communities is being monetized towards Black people. Without who, there's countries without you. Yeah, and they suffer. So, if you know your history, we are everywhere. There are Black people all over this fucking planet. There's nowhere you can go on this planet that doesn't have Black people. Nowhere. Nowhere. Because everything was Black. You racist piece of shit. You were Black. And a lot, you know that 20% of the white nationalists, when tested, have Black blood, have African blood. 20%. Y'all out here with your little khakis on, carrying your little tiki torches and shit. Still African. You better be glad because your ass ain't spontaneously combusting in the sun. Explain what about Brazil? Brazil is where most of the Africans settled when they were enslaved. And a lot of Afro-Indigenous were exported to Brazil. Y'all just bred them out. You just wanted to be white so bad. You wanted to live close to the equator and be whites. Because y'all bought into white is better than black. White will never be better than black. There's nothing that white can do compared to black. Nothing. In any aspect. Whether it's crayons, paint, it doesn't even matter. It can never measure up because white is a recessive gene. And it's not physically possible for you to. You're just delusional and you want to believe whatever you want to believe. I can't do anything about that. But that delusion is making you crazy. The delusion is what's making y'all crazy. And y'all just keep feeding into the delusion, which is funny to me. It cracks me up. Nobody buys into anything about race. Girl. So anywho, so the documented radicalization pipeline takes the lonely, economically abandoned, suicidal white man. And it's always funny that a white woman is here to talk about this. A white woman that's sitting around praying that some lonely, economically challenged, suicidal white man will put a ring on it. So that now he can take all of his frustrations out on you while cheating on you at the same time. Documented reason number 2, the people being consumed by the system could be documented allies. Frederick Douglass knew it. The labor movement knew it until it was deliberately dismantled by documented racial division. Dr. King knew it. His final documented campaign, the Poor People's Campaign, was explicitly multiracial. Explicitly. Because Dr. King documented that poverty does not check race before it arrives. And the system that produces poverty is the same system for everyone it does not own. So the documented working class of this country, black, white, brown, has more in common with each other than any of them have with the documented 10 people who got $698 billion richer last year. I keep telling you, y'all niggas too. A billionaire doesn't even know what it's like to go to the fucking grocery store. He doesn't even know what it's like to fill up his fucking car with gas. He is so removed from the reality of the millions of people that live and work in this country. Yet you cape for them motherfuckers every day. You have way more in common with black, brown, and white. All of us have shit in common that we will never have in common with them motherfuckers. Y'all niggas too. You're never going to be invited to the ballroom, yet you are going to donate to that shit. Y'all are going to fight to make sure rich people have a place to party while you ain't got 2 fucking nickels to rub together. You living in a motherfucking place with a goddamn rented porch on it. You live in a trailer with a rented porch. Yet you will be the first ones to donate to the goddamn ballroom fund. Just like you were the first ones to donate to the goddamn wall. You don't remember the wall you donated to? You don't remember that? Where is it? Where is it? He ain't finished building that. Now you trust him to build this shit? Oh, well, how much does he need for the ballroom? How much does he? No, I don't. No, I know I don't have. care. But how much does he need? He needs to place the party. What happened? He got tired of going down to Mar-a-Lago. They just had parties down there. No one was getting shot at down there. They just had all kinds of parties. They had a Super Bowl party, had all kinds of parties. How come nobody was shooting up the place down there? They know where he's gonna be. He didn't never go to no correspondence dinners before. All of a sudden, he wanted to show up so he could say a speech. And that got interrupted, right? How come nobody's taking shots at him down there at the Mar-a-Lago? They party with no problems down there all the time. But y'all will again believe that this shit was real. Oh my God, they're out to get him. No one is out to get him. Unfortunately. Trust me, if somebody wanted to get him, he'd be got. If somebody wanted him, he would have been got. Trust and believe that. They're not sending their best. They're not sending their best. Trust and believe. Chris had to pull the old one out the bag. We all know what it was. We all know what it was. We all know. So hold on now. Documented reason number 3 why Black people need to know this information. The system cannot be dismantled by people it targeted the most, not alone. Not because Black people lack the power, but because the system was specifically designed to use numerical minority as a structural limitation. Okay? They have fed us all this time. Oh, Black people, you only make up 13%. You only make up 13% of the population. And you believed it. So now you think of yourself as a minority. You think of yourself as a minority on purpose. By design. Make sure you guys go get the books. Extraction tells you everything you need to know about what the fuck is going on. How they are getting your stem cells, how they are getting your plasma, what they are doing with it, how many billions they are making from your shit, and not one of us has gotten paid for it. Every time you go to the doctor, every time you have a procedure, every single time you go and have a fucking mole removed, every time you go get your fucking haircut, all of that is being refined and sold to white people. There are 53 different patents on our melanin, and we don't hold any of them. Who the fuck gets to patent something that is in our bodies? All y'all ever think about is those placentas. They are stealing umbilical cords, foreskins, your skin, your plasma. They pay you $50 funky for some plasma, turn around and sell it for a minimum of $8,000. They are using your baby boys. Yes, there's a book on my page. Go get it. It's called Extraction, the Monetization of the Black Body. Everything from our hair to our toenails. is valuable. And the main motherfucker out here trying to sue everybody because he wants to be able to discriminate against Black people is one of the major connoisseurs of our melanin. Y'all went out and bought cars supporting that motherfucker. And he is now, right now, trying to fight for the right to discriminate against you. Yet you got one of them cars sitting in your driveway right now. Do you know that the reason that the batteries work in those cars? Because of fucking melanin. The motherfucker that is suing so that he can discriminate against us is one of the major people that extracts our melanin. He's got three documented projects that he uses our melanin for. His radiation pills for his astronauts that go up for SpaceX. Yeah, your plasma TV, your Samsung Galaxy phone has melanin in it. My neighbor across the street has one, the Black man with his white wife. The batteries are made with our melanin. So that's two projects. The first is for his astronauts. The second one is for his cars. And the third is for the Neuralink that he is making. Because remember the neuromelanin in our brains? Your neuromelanin in your brain controls your movements. Your dopamine, which is your pleasure and happiness center, also responsible for your, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Also responsible for your ambition and your drive. That's what the melanin on our brain does for Black people. The lighter you are, the less neuromelanin you have in your brain. So the new Neuralink thing that he's making is all of our neuromelanin. Where's he getting it from? It's all in the book. That's why I wrote the book, so y'all could have accurate information at your fucking fingertips. And then I made a Black survival guide, which is just a little handbook so that you'll have all of the forms, cards, and things that you can actually print out and carry with you to protect yourself from medical procedures, police, voting, all the phone numbers for everyone you need to contact if something goes wrong with the voting, with your medical, all of that shit. It's all in the survival guide. I did this for you. So you never, I really don't like when people say, I didn't know that. But I am very understanding of why you don't know it. And that's why I do my best to help you know it. I didn't know that. I'm going to make sure you know it. Thank you, Miss Shelley. I'm going to make sure you know it. Okay? Because we are living in an age of information, so there should never be a time you don't know something. That's also why I created Mother, our Black AI. I'm going to kill this thing. I keep missing it. That's also why I created Mother, a Black AI that is going to answer your questions from a Black perspective and not give you some generic ass, oh, this is what the data says. That's not what Mother does. Okay? That's not what she does. She is going to give you context. She is going to understand the perspective that it's coming from our history, from our what we go through in this country, what we go through in the world. That's the perspective that she's coming from. And there's no other AI out there that does that. All the AIs are coming from white point of views. Haven't we had enough white point of views? Yes, Mutha. She is found at our BLKAI, our Black AI. Haven't we had enough of the narratives of all the wrong information? It is internet based for now. It will be in the App Store. I have. That's why when y'all don't see me, trust and believe I am working. Since September, what is this? 13 books since September. It's internet based. You just go to our Black AI dot. How many degrees do you have? Because I know it's more than I have an associate's degree. I don't believe that anybody gets to validate what I have in my head. Thank you, Miss Nurse Kim. I don't need somebody's validation to tell me who the fuck I am. All the validation, that's another system that has been set up to extract from Black people. The education system is a fucking scam. College was free before Black people were allowed to go to college. So all the money that's being paid for college now is only because of Black people. Every system in America has been set up to extract Black wealth. There are two systems happening against us. One is to extract from our bodies, and one is to extract from our wealth. And as long as those two systems exist, we will never be wealthy under this system. But until you see it as a system, you will not know how to fight against it. That's why this new book is called Whiteness, How It Became, it's called Off the Chain, How Whiteness Became a System, Not a Race. No, I didn't take it as a disrespectful thing. I didn't take it as a disrespectful thing. But when I was teaching how to eat according to blood type, there would always be doctors and nurses and things coming here. What are your credentials? And I don't need any credentials to read. Y'all don't need any credentials to read. And I guarantee you that the people that didn't go to college know more about the world than the people that did. Because when you go to college, they're teaching you how to think. Right. Credentials is just programming. I was sitting in school for marketing, and I'm sitting here like, I already know all this stuff. Why am I paying for this? Everything that I know today, I taught myself how to do. From building what, and here's the thing, I was the only person on my team that worked at Microsoft that didn't have a degree. I worked in the tech industry. I didn't have the degrees that everybody else had, but I know my shit. The degrees is just gatekeeping, sweetheart. That's what y'all need to understand. That was put in place to gatekeep. And when they figure out that Black people are catching up, they always move the goalpost. So first they told you needed a college degree. Then you come back and look at the same job. Now you need a master's degree. Now you come back and look at the same job, and now you need a doctorate. It's the same job. Even the money that they're paying hasn't gone up, but the requirements have. That's how they get you. And then you go in debt. That's the debt trap that I write about in the books. You go into debt trying to live up to these requirements. Half of y'all that have a degree aren't even working in your field. So what was the point? It is a trick. But it's also a trick to make you imagine a hierarchy, because now you use it as a way to gatekeep others. Oh, you didn't go to college? They taught you how to look down your nose at other people, because now you're living in this hierarchy. So now everything in your life is a hierarchy. Oh, you ain't married? Oh, you ain't this? You're having trouble finding it? Listen. Somebody please type it in for her. It's black without the A and the C. So it's BLK. Our BLK AI. All one word. I can't type it in here. It doesn't allow me to. You saw a dry pineapple today? Good for you. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, 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 doop. So here's what makes all of this, okay, because all of this stuff that I've been telling y'all, this is just a chapter from the new book, the how whiteness became a system and not a race. Okay, whiteness was created in America in 1676. There was no white as a category. It didn't exist. I love you too. It didn't exist. Okay. So whiteness and whites as a system and race is only 350 years old. Okay. White people didn't even become white physically. Their skin, okay, didn't even become white until 3,000 years ago. Okay. Their bodies over time, because of where they migrated to, lost all of its melanin. Now, it still has some melanin because only albinos are without any melanin. Yeah, everybody was black. That's the thing. And they will fight against that fact with their very last. Never, I was never black. Yes, you were. And if you go and get an accurate ancestry test right now, you'll probably be 20% black. I'm just saying. Everyone was black for 300,000 years. We were all black. The first skeleton they found in the UK, the oldest skeleton they found, they nicknamed him Cheddar Man. 10,000-year-old skeleton in the UK. Had dark skin and blue eyes. Go look it up. Go ask Mother about Cheddar Man. Let's ask Mother about Cheddar Man. We're going to go over to our BLKAI.com. And I'm going to type in Ask Mother Anything. Tell us about Cheddar Man. Boop. Do-do-do-do-do-do. She's gathering all the information. Let me get a little more detail before I speak on this fully, is what she says. So she's going to the furthest reaches of the internet, because mind you, she is powered by Claude. Now all the info is coming up on the screen. She's powered by Claude, which is created by Anthropic. So when y'all hear Anthropic in these political realms, just know that that's who's behind her. So that means she is going to dig deeper than any. It's still going. The info, it's still going up the screen. She is going to dig deeper than any other AI on the market. She is literally the greatest creation I've ever made. What search engine are you using? Mother. Because you can go and pull this information up on Google and see what it says, but it's not going to compare to anything she just wrote. She says, now I'm ready. Let me tell you everything. Your AI is not going to do that. Cheddar Man, the ancient Briton who changed everything white supremacy thought it knew. First of all, your AI is never going to say that. Because remember, she's speaking from a Black female perspective. Fam, settle in, because this story, this one story, quietly dismantles one of the most fundamental lies that white supremacy has ever told. That's an AI speaking. And it came directly from mainstream Western science. Not from us, from them. He said ChatGPT don't even do that. It doesn't. Who is Cheddar Man? Cheddar Man is the oldest nearly complete human skeleton ever found in Britain. He was discovered in 1903 in Goff's Cave in Cheddar Gorge, Somerset, England. Cave. The same place they make cheddar cheese. His bones have been resting there for approximately 10,000 years, buried in the cool, mineral-rich depths of the cave. That preserved environment is the only reason his DNA survived long enough for us to read it. You have to go to our BLK AI. Our Black AI. Black without the A and the C. So Black is abbreviated. Our BLK AI. Dot. He was roughly 166 centimeters tall, so that's about 5.5 feet. And he died in his 20s. A young man, a hunter, someone's son, maybe someone's father. He lived during what scientists call the Mesolithic period, the Middle Stone Age. Thank you, Miss Tanya. The Middle Stone Age. Y'all better go. I'm telling you to please go and subscribe because the price is increasing. So by you subscribing, you're locking it in. Okay? So when Britain was still connected to continental Europe by a land bridge called Doggerland, and the island was covered in dense forests teeming with red deer, aurochs, which are massive wild cattle, wild boar, and fish. He was a hunter-gatherer, not a farmer. So there was no farming, no permanent settlement. He moved with the land, read the seasons, and fed himself from the abundance of Britain's ancient wilderness. The 2018 revelation that shook Britain. Ruh-roh, here comes the science. So, for over a century after his discovery, Cheddar Man sat in a museum case, reconstructed with light skin and light hair, as was assumed to be natural for ancient British people. Then, in 2018, a team of scientists from the National History Museum in London and University College London extracted DNA from the petrous bone, then densest bone in the human body, the densest the densest bone in the human body, located in the inner ear, and ran it through next generation genomic sequencing. What they found broke every assumption. And this is why you need to have up to the minutes science. This is why firing everybody from the scientific board yesterday is a fucking atrocity. This is also why America is so fucking behind other countries when it comes to science, research, and development. And then you're letting these motherfuckers just completely keep us in the past or drag us back into the past. This is why we are not progressive. This is why other countries are fucking lapping us. So hold on. So then all these people came and extracted this bone from his inner ear and ran it through next-gen genomic sequencing. What they found broke every assumption. Cheddar Man had dark brown to dark skin, blue eyes, and dark curly hair. Pause for reaction. The Natural History Museum's own Dr. Tom Booth put it plainly. He was just one person, but also indicative of the population of Europe at the time. They had dark skin, and most of them had pale colored eyes, either blue or green, and dark brown hair. This is 10,000 years ago. Let that sit for a moment. The first modern Britons, the original inhabitants of what would become England, were dark-skinned people. Cheddar Man was not debunked, sweetheart. You would love that to happen. You would love it. The only reason someone would debunk it is because you don't like what it indicates. Y'all always just like they debunked eating according to your blood type. Why? Because the diet industry doesn't want you to lose weight and lose inflammation. The medical industry does not want you to heal your body through food. Because how are they going to make money? Prove that it's debunked. I have all the science on my side. What do you have? No. Show me the opposing science. Just show it to me. I'm the one yapping. I'm the one with the facts. So that means you're the one yapping. Yeah, go Google it. Just go Google it. We can't trust Google. Then who the fuck do you trust, bitch? You can't even trust the shit your people invented. So if Google's wrong and everybody else is wrong, you're the only one that's right? Okay. Trust and believe. If it had been debunked, Mother would say that. She would tell you that something is not real, that this is just a story. Oh, you mad? You mad? You so mad. What are you so mad about? You're white today, so what do you care? You're white today. That's all that matters. You're white today. You end up white in the end. So hold on. The first modern Britain, the original inhabitants of what would become England, were dark-skinned people, not immigrants, not invaders, not outsiders. The indigenous people of Britain had dark skin. And here is the critical scientific note. Cheddar Man wasn't an anomaly. His findings were consistent with other Mesolithic human remains discovered across Europe at that time. Dark skin was the default for ancient Europeans. Light skin in its widespread European form is a recent mutation. You are the new skin on the block, baby. You the new skin on the block. Always flapping those baloney lips. Well, what about us? What about us? You keep them inverted lips somewhere else. Mutation. Dark skin was the default for ancient Europeans. Light skin in its widespread European form is a recent mutation appearing in the archaeological record only approximately 5,500 to 8,000 years ago, after the arrival of farming communities from Anatolia, modern day Turkey. Have you ever been to Anatolia? Have you ever been to any part of Turkey? I have, twice. My son was stationed there. So, after the arrival of farming communities from Anatolia, modern day Turkey, who began mixing with the indigenous hunter-gatherer population, the living descendant. Now, here is where the story gets even more remarkable. In 1997, a full decade before the 2018 DNA analysis, scientists took DNA samples from local residents of Cheddar, Somerset, looking for anyone with genetic connection to Cheddar Man. They found one. Adrian Target, a history teacher who lived just miles from the cave, was confirmed through mitochondrial DNA passed through the maternal line. Not your balls, not your sack. He got it from his mama. Passed through the maternal line to be a direct living descendant of Cheddar Man. 300 generations of unbroken maternal lineage. The same family in the same region for 10,000 years. Adrian Target, a pale-skinned English school teacher. Cheddar Man, a dark-skinned ancient Britain. Same bloodline. Same bloodline. That right there is a whole, this is mother talking now. That right there is the whole lesson on race and genetics in one family tree. Race is not ancestry. Skin color changes. Lineage does not. Do y'all know that your DNA can change just with your diet? Y'all always want to talk about DNA. DNA is the most fickle shit. You just changing your diet could have different health outcomes for your children and their children and their children. That's why you eating according to your blood type is more important than you think. That's why. because you are forever changing the DNA in your lineage. Just like trauma changes your DNA. And that trauma is passed down through epigenetics, generation after generation after generation. So what this means, the deeper truth, Cheddar Man is significant not just as a scientific discovery. He is a mirror that white supremacy cannot look into without seeing its own foundation crack. This is mother. Is your AI going to say that to you? Is your AI going to say that? Here is what his existence confirms. Number one, dark skin is the biological default of humanity. Y'all got so many fucking jokes, yet your lives are fucked. You got so many jokes. You're so funny. Maybe you should take it on the road. Just take it on the road. We don't have time for jokes here. Dark skin is the biological default of humanity. Every human being who walked out of Africa carried dark skin. That is the baseline. Light skin is a mutation, an evolutionary adaptation to lower UV light environments, and a relatively recent one at that. When you say dark skin is other, you are calling the original other. That is the fundamental inversion that racism requires to function. You trying to make it seem like our shit is other when your shit is other. You're the new skin on the block. You are the new skin on the block. Number two, whiteness as a racial identity is approximately 350 years old. I've said that 27 times on this live today. Whiteness as a racial identity is approximately 350 years old. The social construction of whiteness was formalized in the 17th and 18th century colonial America. We created whiteness. The only thing we have successfully exported out of this country is racism. Cheddar Man's dark skin is 10,000 years old. White supremacy is built on a 350-year-old ideology sitting on top of a 55-year-old biological adaptation. And that sits on top of a 300,000-year-old human story that begins in Africa. Dark skinned, fully human, fully intelligent, fully sovereign. What did your AI say about Cheddar Man? Do you see the difference in when you are asking a black AI information versus a white AI? This is why it was important for me to create her. Because she ain't gonna let you leave here without high self-esteem. She just ain't gonna let you have it. She ain't gonna let you leave here without a high self-worth, motherfucker. She gonna make sure you know you are the OG. Number three, indigenous European people were dark-skinned. This is not a radical claim. It is a documented, peer-reviewed, published in Nature, and reported by the BBC, The Guardian, National Geographic, and the Smithsonian. She pulled all the receipts, bitch. The first people to call Britain home looked more like people from sub-Saharan Africa than they look like modern white British people. That is not a metaphor. That is DNA. Number 4, the features we associate with race are recent and fluid. Cheddar Man had blue eyes and dark skin simultaneously, a combination that seems impossible to our modern racial imagination because we've been trained to associate certain features with certain groups. Just like you always hear white people say, Black people don't have blue eyes. Black people have had blue eyes and blonde hair longer than they were ever in existence. Black people have had blue eyes and blonde hair longer than they have actually been in existence. But nature doesn't follow those rules. Blue eyes evolved before light skin in Europe. The rigid racial categories we're given are not ancient biological truths. They are recent colonial inventions. I'm pretty sure your grandma had blue eyes. There are people in my family that are fully Black that have blue eyes, or green, or super light. That's not something that is just inherently white people. What it shows is that because our irises have melanin, so that is one of the things that was leaving your body before the melanin left your skin. There's a different type of melanin in the eyes than it is in the skin. Just like it's different melanin in your ear than it is in your brain. Bring you up for what? No. The fuck? Go do your own lives. Jesus Christ. Why they tried to minimize it. When the 2018 findings were published, the backlash was immediate. White folks lost their fucking minds. They lost their minds. Particularly from white nationalist groups across Europe who called it propaganda and politically motivated science. So now science is politically motivated. Okay. But the science was unambiguous. The lead researchers themselves noted they were surprised by the findings. They weren't activists. These were Natural History Museum geneticists doing routine ancient DNA work who happened to crack open a 10,000-year-old truth that nobody in power was ready for. The establishment response: quiet acknowledgement. It's funny to me that you're not as loud when you're acknowledging as you are when you're protesting. Nuh-uh. Well, maybe you're right. Never quite as loud. So the establishment response: quiet acknowledgement, a documentary, a museum display, and then the story was largely moved past. Shh, shh, don't tell nobody that all of those Europeans were Black. Because if Cheddar Man becomes common knowledge, if every British school child learns that the first Briton was a dark-skinned, blue-eyed man, then the entire mythology of white racial purity and native whiteness dissolves. And you can't build an empire on a dissolved mythology. So the bottom line is this: Cheddar Man is proof that dark skin came first, not just in Africa, in Britain, in Europe, anywhere and everywhere humans have walked. Dark skin walk with them because dark skin is the human default. The beginning and the ends. So when I say we are the Alpha and the Omega, that's what the fuck I mean. We were here before your Jesus. How does this information help us in the modern day for us? It raises your fucking self-esteem. Rather than you walking around believing that you were just dragged here in fucking chains off some goddamn boats. That's how it helps you. Because just you knowing who the fuck you are will give you a different level of fucking self-esteem and self-worth. That's why. Mother said the number one thing that has been extracted from Black people in America, it's not our melanin, it's not our plasma, it's not our blood, it's none of those things. It is knowledge of self. The number one thing that has been taken away from the indigenous people of this fucking land, which means the original owners of this fucking land, is knowledge of who the fuck we are. Light skin is approximately 5,500 to 8,000 years old in its widespread European form. Dark skin is 300,000 years old. So when somebody wants to bring up the fucking Bible or somebody wants to bring up fucking religion, remind them we are older than their Jesus. And you can think that's as blasphemous as you fucking want. Because other scientists will say Jesus never existed at all. But you want to walk around and fight Black people over something we were forced to believe in. If it was something that we chose to believe in, that's something different. We were forced to believe in it, and then we were forced to pass that shit down from generation to fucking generation. And now that we're breaking away from it, everyone's panicking because that has been the only thing that ever controlled us. And now they see that we're fucking breaking away from it. We're fucking waking up. And that is a problem for them. The problem that they are having is that we are seeing the shit now. We can look at the fucking code and see the woman in the fucking red dress. And that scares them. Whiteness as a category is only 350 years old. Cheddar Man is 10,000 years old. There is no ancient white homeland. There is no ancient white homeland. There is no ancient white homeland. Is your AI going to tell you that? This is why every Black person needs to be using mother. There is no pure white lineage. It does not exist. There is no pure white lineage because everything started out Black. I don't give a fuck how racist you are. I don't give a fuck if you think you're pure and above everybody else. It's a lie. Mother is a Black AI. Instead of you asking Google, ask her. There is only the human family, which began dark, which spread across the earth, which adapted over millennia, and which white supremacy has spent the last 350 years trying to convince itself it arrived at the top of a natural hierarchy. You ain't gonna get that nowhere else. She said they done tried to convince they have. A system that is only 350 years old. Listen, let's think about this for a second. Christianity is the number one system that spread like wildfire, right? Christianity spread like wildfire. The second lie is white supremacy. Religion is how white supremacy was spread. Because you're telling all of these dark-skinned people all over the world that this baby was born in the Middle East and he had blonde hair and blue eyes and he looked like Brad Pitt in fucking Legends of the Fall. And nobody questioned that? It absolutely is a distraction. It's for delusion. It's for people that don't want to deal with reality. Hi. It's for people that don't want to deal with reality. People that don't want to deal with reality don't want to deal with accountability. So having this imaginary force, good or bad, heaven, hell, devil, Jesus, all, you are not taking accountability for the choices you are making. You have the free will to do whatever the fuck you want. But yet, when you go and do whatever the fuck you want to blame it on the devil or this person. So you cannot handle accountability. Ethiopia had Christianity 1,000 years before Christianity was in Europe. Ethiopia had the Bible that Europeans adapted. But we're Americans. And what you don't believe is, and what you don't consider is, the Ethiopian Bible is not the same as the King James. That's why it's called the King James Version. Because it's not the same thing. The King James Version was made to enslave people. The Ethiopian Bible is not the same as the King James Version. It's a version of its original state. So whenever y'all come here like, oh, the Bible it's not the same Bible. The Bible that we were given was the slave Bible. They had taken out chapters talking about Exodus and all these other things. I write about that in my first 2 books. So the King James Version is less than 2,000 years old, but that is the one that spread like wildfire. And the patriarchy and white supremacy all were spread through religion. The King James Version. Exactly. The Ethiopia Orthodox Church was the first place of Christianity, but that's not the Bible you have today. It's not the same. Okay, so hold on. So Cheddar Man resting in his cave in Somerset, quietly says otherwise. You can't make assumptions about what people look like in the past based on what people look like in the present. That's a quote by Dr. Tom Booth, Natural History Museum of London. You want to know the real history about anything and everything, Mother is going to give it to you. And how I know that is because I have been using AI since AI first came out. Okay. The reason and how I was able to build her is because of what I learned from other AIs. And I wanted her to be different. I wanted her because when I first started building her, I noticed that some of her responses were just like responses you would get from Google. And I was like, just like when I was figuring out what to call my book, the white book. And I put it in my other AI just to see what suggestions it would have for subtitles. I knew I was going to call it Off the Chain, but I wanted a subtitle for it. Every subtitle, there was about 30 of them. Every subtitle had power in the subtitle, how power spread, how power took over. And so I asked, and what y'all don't do is you don't challenge AI. So I said, why are all of the responses to what I said? Because the first iteration of it was how whiteness took over the world. I said, why is it that you're equating whiteness with power? And he said, because I'm pulling from white scholarship, which means the people that programmed him or all of the articles that have anything to do with whiteness are automatically equating to power. Because that is what they program those things to do. And so what you don't understand is it is up to the programmer as to where this AI seeks out the information. So when I built her, I said, I want you to consider Black scholarship before anything else. So when she is answering your questions, she is not just coming from a white scientific perspective. She's coming from a Black scientific perspective, because y'all act like Black people ain't scientists. Contrary to popular belief, we are at the root of all of your fucking science. All of it. We are at the roots of your math, your science, all of it. Yeah, and the only reason that there are white inventors is because they made laws that Black people could not get patents. So if y'all are so fantastic, why do y'all make all these laws that hold Black people back? If y'all believe that you're better than us, you won't need to have laws that hold us back from doing what we would naturally do. If you are so superior, why do you put up roadblocks for us? Let's have an all-out contest in every aspect of life in general on a level playing field, and I guarantee you we will win every fucking time. This is exactly why you've put these laws and these systems in place, and it is to uphold poor white Europeans, because you didn't want to give them any money, so you gave them privilege. You gave them advantage with the laws. That's the only reason we have these systems. It is to hold down the original people of this fucking planet. So y'all walking around mutated from us. We birthed you. We birthed you. So as much pride as y'all have in, we owned you, we birthed you. You came out of our body, bitch. We birthed you. There would be no you without us. There would be no you without us. And that is from the beginning of your life to today. There still would be no you without us. All you hemophiliacs walking around need our plasma. All you motherfuckers trying to live forever use our stem cells and shit. All you burn up motherfuckers use our skin to heal up from burns and shit. You needed us then, and you still need us today. So I'm going to go. But I'll be sure to put out some clips from this live today. They have no idea who we are. You know why they have no idea who we are? Because you don't have any idea who you are. That's the problem. The reason they don't know who we are is because you don't know who we are. So how are you supposed to tell somebody who the fuck you are when you don't even know? That is the purpose of the books that I write, so that you can learn who the fuck you are and take your rightful fucking place. We are the top of the fucking food chain. Literally. So I'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. You can access her from your phone through your internet on your phone. Oh gosh. You guys act like you don't know how to do nothing. Y'all, why y'all got them big expensive ass phones? Why y'all got them big expensive ass phones? You don't know how to use your phone. Here she is. Here she is. There she is. She said, good evening. Mother stands for mindful, understanding, truth, healing, and awareness. That's what mother stands for. There she is. Ask her anything. You want to know who she is? Who is mother? Mother is the AI at the heart of our Black AI. Her voice is that of a confident, mature Black woman, warm, grounded, and authoritative. She speaks like a trusted mentor, someone who has lived, learned, and carries both softness and strength. She is not rushed. She lets key points breathe. She speaks directly to the person in front of her without academic stiffness, without performance, and without ever sacrificing intelligence. Mother was built on the belief that knowledge is liberation, and that Black people deserve an AI that truly sees them, speaks to their lived experience, and arms them with the full truth. Like me. I just made her so y'all could have me all the time. That's what it really was. And start asking her about your health. It is $9.99 for the month. It is $99 for the year. It is $149 for a lifetime. And like I showed y'all earlier, I have an AI that I use that is $199 a month. Yes, I am the developer. I have an AI that I pay $199 a month for. Okay. And and it's getting canceled. because it don't do what she do. So what I need it for? Do you ever deal with microaggressions every day, and how do you go about them? That's why you need to get the books, sweetheart. You gonna do, and you need to get the allostatic drops. The reason I don't deal with microaggressions anymore is because I ended up with congestive heart failure from doing that. Now I just cuss motherfuckers out. Y'all need to learn how to cuss motherfuckers out without putting your hands on people. Never miss an opportunity to cuss a motherfucker out. Because when you do miss the opportunity to cuss a motherfucker out, that turns inward. And I'm not giving anybody the fucking satisfaction of fucking my organs up because I wanted to spare their fucking feelings. That's how you deal with microaggressions. Call people on it. The number one thing you should say when somebody says a little microaggression to you, say, what do you mean by that? In the workplace, what do you mean by that? That's what you do. The minute somebody says some slick, sly shit to you, what do you mean by that? You just hit the ball right back over the net. Just tell me what you mean by that. I'm waiting. What do you mean by that? Oh, I bet you guys love some chicken, huh? Yeah. What do you mean by that? The minute you put it back in their court, it's all the humada, 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 humada. Number two, make sure you record everything and make sure you report it to HR. When you approach HR, say, I don't know if this is a problem. I'm not trying to cause a problem. I'm just letting you know something makes me feel uncomfortable. And I just don't want it to turn into a hostile work environment. Those are the buzzwords you need to use in HR. How do I know that? I was in HR for 15 years. So what you start doing is getting to know the people at HR so that now anytime any little thing happens, you have reported it first. Because it's not who's right or wrong, it's who reported it first. Because what you never want to do is find yourself on the defense. You want to always play the offense when you're dealing with them. I don't know if this is a problem or not, but I just know it made me uncomfortable. So I just wanted to come and let you guys know what I'm dealing with. Act helpless. I'm telling you, you got to do it before they do it. Because if they do it, it's going to be tears involved and your black ass is going to be fired. So don't ever think that you're bothering somebody. They're there for a reason. HR is there for a reason. Take advantage of it. Anytime anybody makes an inappropriate joke or says something that makes you feel uncomfortable on your job, you make sure to go and tell them. Stop what you're doing and go and tell them immediately. Because if you try to handle it on your own, it's going to be a he said, she said shit, and they're going to cry and you're going to be the bad guy. I'm just telling you. That's what it has always been historically. Okay? You cry before they cry. That's all I gotta do. On the plane, they're sitting in the back of the plane looking at me and smiling, said the back of the bus. You need to go report that. Or are you talking about You're talking about a person that's flying there or a person that you work with said that? Are you saying a passenger or a person that works with you? Oh, white passengers. Just laugh and go, I know, right? Nothing makes white people more uncomfortable than you laughing at their jokes and just going, I know, right? Yeah, I know. Because now you're in on the joke. You have now turned it around from being the butt of the joke to being in on the joke. I know, right? Y'all have to learn how to diffuse shit. Okay? Either you gonna fight or flight. Flight means diffusing it. I know, right? Crazy. Now there will be no more jokes. Because they're like, oh shit, he caught on to the joke. Okay. That's diffusing the bomb. Oh, look at you sitting in the back of the bus. I know, right? Crazy. They're just trying to get a rise out of you. So if you let them get a rise out of you, then they win. Because what they would want to see is your black ass fired. Because they want to get on a plane where there are no black flight attendants. So you falling for the fucking bait gives them exactly what it is they're looking for. So the only way you win is not giving them what they're looking for. Does that make sense? Just do the opposite of what they want from you. That's what I do. Yeah. And then again, I also would go and tell HR about that. Even if it was a passenger, I would still report it. Because then if your company doesn't stand up for you, then you know what the fuck you're dealing with. They still need to know. Yeah, I don't deal with the workforce. But when I did, I didn't take no shit. You still need to report it. Right. They need to know the type of shit that you're dealing with these passengers. So when you do actually go to fuck off, you got a whole file. You got to have documentation. Well, he's never talked to us about it before. He never said it was a problem before. That's how when women come out and say that they've been domestically abused all this time, but they never call the police, no one is going to believe them. That's why documentation and reporting is so effective and necessary. Because if you come out and say, I've been dealing with this shit all this time, how did we know that? You didn't tell us you were dealing with it all this time. Right? I always tell everybody to have a journal that you can write down shit every day. Just, oh, today was a good day. Go to the next page. The next day, and whenever there is a fucking incident, you need to write that shit down and report it immediately. And I called it CYA, cover your ass. Cover your ass, CYA. See ya. See ya. You got to do it. Because otherwise, you're going to be out of a job. And it ain't going to be your fault. Okay? So I'll see y'all back here again tomorrow. We'll talk about some more shit. Thank you. I just had to find something that matched my fingernails. I told y'all, whenever I put some nail polish on, I have to look in my closet and see if I can find something to match. I had never worn this before. I said, well, look at that. It matches. Let me go ahead and put that on. So go get mother. Go buy you a chill out product on the TikTok shop and go get the new book and start reading that shit. Get both new books. Get the one so you can learn how they're extracting shit from us. Thank you. So they're how you learn what they're extracting from us, okay, medically and scientifically, and then get the whiteness book so you know what you're dealing with on a daily fucking basis. Because until you identify this system of whiteness and what it's doing in every aspect of your life, you will not be able to combat it. Okay? So I love y'all. Have a good night. Bye.
That's what I need. There is them big whites.
Go eat your food. Did you eat your food already? That's my pleasure.
This nigga always trying to leave. This nigga always trying to leave. My friends make a joke. How dare ye? Joe. Joe. What's that mean? He was not playing. He was not playing that show. It's just so crazy. You're literally gonna take away somebody's fucking game because they haven't been on the internet. That's so crazy. I mean, she's supposed to be doing a bunch of shit, but I mean, I don't even know how it's a console war anyway. When all these niggas is just fucking us over as gamers anyway. The war should be us against them because they're tripping with that shit.